What would you do if the person you trusted more than anyone suddenly wanted to split everything in half, right before taking everything from you? The glow from her laptop lit up the kitchen at 2:17 a.m., reflecting off the marble counter we picked out together 12 years ago. I stood there in the dark hallway, watching her shoulders tense when she heard the floor creak beneath me. She slammed the screen halfway shut, too fast, too nervous, and that's when I saw it. A name, not mine, followed by a heart emoji. She turned, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You're still up?" I didn't answer, because in that moment, something inside me cracked. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, like ice giving way under pressure. And I didn't know yet that this was just the beginning. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. It started with something small. Or at least, it seemed small. "Maybe we should have separate bank accounts," she said one evening, casually, like she was suggesting a new brand of coffee. We were sitting at a booth in a diner off West 46th Street in Manhattan. The same place we used to come to when we were broke and dreaming about a better life. Back then, everything was shared. Dreams, struggles, even the last fries on the plate. "Why?" I asked, half laughing. She shrugged. "Just independence. It's healthier. 12 years of marriage. No fights about money. No secrets. And now suddenly, independence?" I didn't argue. That was my first mistake. Because a week later, she moved half our savings into an account I couldn't access. And a week after that, she started coming home late. At first, it was work. Then team dinners. Then client emergencies. I wanted to believe her. God, I really did. But belief doesn't survive long against silence. She stopped touching me. Stopped asking about my day. Stopped looking at me like I mattered. Conversations became transactions. "Did you pay the electric bill? Where's the car key? Don't wait up." And then came the humiliation. It was a Friday night in a rooftop bar in Soho. I wasn't supposed to be there. My coworker dragged me out after weeks of me declining everything. "You need air," he said. I wish I hadn't listened. Because that's where I saw her. Laughing. Not the polite, distant laugh she gave me at dinner tables, but the real one. The one I hadn't heard in months. She was leaning into him like gravity didn't apply. His hand rested comfortably on her lower back, like it belonged there. I stood frozen near the entrance, the city lights blurring behind them. And then she kissed him. Not a mistake. Not hesitation. A choice. I left before she could see me. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room staring at the wall, replaying it over and over until the image burned into me. But the worst part? She came home at 1:30 a.m., slipped into bed beside me, and whispered, "You asleep?" Like nothing had happened. That's when I realized I wasn't just being betrayed. I was being replaced. The next few weeks, I became invisible in my own life. She was colder, sharper, almost irritated by my presence. "Why are you always home?" she snapped one night. I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time, I didn't recognize the woman in front of me. But instead of confronting her, I started watching. Her phone was always face down. Password changed. Calls taken in the hallway. Receipts started appearing. Not by accident, but because she got careless. A boutique hotel in downtown Manhattan. Twice in 1 week. A restaurant bill for 2, wine, dessert, late hours. And then, the name. Ethan. I saw it flash on her phone one morning while she was in the shower. "Can't wait to see you again." My hands didn't shake. Not anymore. Because something inside me had shifted. The man who begged for answers was gone. In his place was someone patient. Someone quiet. Someone dangerous. I hired a private investigator. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't leave a trace. Within 2 weeks, I had everything. Photos of them entering a hotel on Lexington Avenue. Videos of them holding hands in Central Park. Copies of hotel bookings. Dinner reservations. Even messages. "I'm so close to leaving him. He suspects nothing." I read that line 10 times. He suspects nothing. I almost laughed. That's when the plan started forming. I met with a lawyer in a quiet office overlooking Park Avenue. I slid the evidence across the table. "Is this enough?" I asked. He looked through it slowly, then nodded. "More than enough. New York isn't kind to cheaters in divorce court. Not when there's proof. Not when assets are involved. And we had a lot to divide. But I didn't just want to win. I wanted the truth to burn. So I waited. I acted normal. Played my role. Until the right moment. It came on a Thursday evening. She told me she had a late client dinner. I nodded. Of course. But instead of staying home, I drove straight to the hotel. I already knew the room number. The investigator had made sure of that. Room 814. I stood outside the door for a full minute, listening. Laughter. Muffled voices. Then silence. I knocked. A pause. Then footsteps. The door opened. And there he was. Ethan. Taller than me. Confident. Shirt half-buttoned. And behind him, my wife. Her face went pale. Surprise, I said calmly. No shouting. No scene. Just truth. They scrambled for excuses, words tripping over lies. This isn't what it looks like. Please, just listen. But I didn't need to listen. I had already heard everything. The next day, I filed for divorce. And that was just the beginning. Because a week later, the evidence didn't just stay in a courtroom. It reached her workplace. Her family. His. Screenshots. Photos. Dates. Not anonymous. Not hidden. Just undeniable. Her boss called her in. Company policy on professional conduct. She was gone by the end of the week. Ethan. Married. 2 kids. His wife found out the same day. He didn't look so confident after that. The messages stopped. The laughter ended. And for the first time, they weren't untouchable. She tried to come back. Cried. Begged. Promised everything. I made a mistake. No, I said quietly. You made a choice. Every single day. In court, the evidence spoke louder than she ever could. Assets divided. Mostly in my favor. Alimony denied. Her independence had cost her everything. The apartment was mine. The savings she tried to hide. Exposed. Frozen. Reclaimed. I watched her walk out of that courtroom alone. No job. No partner. No sympathy. Just consequences. Weeks later, I saw her once more. By accident. She was sitting outside a small cafe in Brooklyn. Alone. Staring into a cup of coffee like it might explain something. She looked smaller. Not physically. Just diminished. She noticed me. Our eyes met. For a moment, I thought she might come over. Say something. Anything. But she didn't. And neither did I. Because there was nothing left to say, I walked away. And this time, I didn't look back. The hardest part wasn't losing her. It was realizing she was gone long before I ever knew. The end.